There's something the Bible warns about that most people completely overlook. Not sin in the obvious sense. Not temptation in the way you expect. Something quieter. Something slower. Something far more dangerous. Hebrews 12:15 says this, "See to it that no one falls short of the grace of God, and that no bitter root grows up to cause trouble and defile many." A root, not a storm, not an explosion, a root. That means it starts small, invisible, almost harmless. But if left unchecked, it grows. And by the time you notice it, it's already wrapped around your faith. Most people think faith is lost in one moment. One mistake, one failure, one decision. But the truth is, faith is usually not destroyed. It's slowly drained. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what does it. Because if you don't recognize this early, you won't just struggle spiritually. You'll slowly become someone you don't recognize. Let's start where this begins. Number 1, the seed of offense. This is where it all starts. Not with rebellion, not with disbelief. With offense, someone hurt you, someone disappointed you. Someone you trusted didn't show up the way you expected. And at first it feels justified. Of course it does. But here's what most people miss. Offense doesn't stay external. It becomes internal. You replay it. You analyze it. You hold on to it. And slowly, it stops being about what happened. It becomes part of who you are. That's why Hebrews calls it a root. Because it doesn't just sit there. It grows beneath the surface. You start questioning people. Then you start questioning motives. And eventually, you start questioning God. Not loudly, not openly, quietly. And that's how it spreads. Number 2, the slow shift in perspective. Most people think losing faith looks dramatic. But it doesn't. It looks like subtle shifts. You stop praying as much. Not intentionally, just less. You stop reading scripture. Not because you reject it. Just you don't feel like it. You still believe, but something feels distant. And here's the dangerous part. You get used to it. That distance starts to feel normal. But here's what most people never realize. Faith doesn't disappear all at once. It fades when connection fades. The same way a relationship does. Not through one argument, but through silence, through neglect, through lack of attention. And the longer it goes on, the harder it is to notice what's missing. Number 3, hidden bitterness. Now we go deeper. Because offense that isn't healed becomes bitterness. And bitterness is dangerous for one reason. It feels justified. You tell yourself, they deserved it. I had every right. I'm just being honest. But bitterness doesn't just affect how you see others. It changes how you experience life. It makes you more critical, more defensive, more closed. And here's the part nobody talks about. It blocks grace. Not because God removes it, but because bitterness hardens your heart to receive it. You start interpreting everything through pain. Even blessings feel suspicious. And slowly, faith doesn't feel alive anymore. Not because God changed, but because your heart did. Number 4, spiritual exhaustion. This one is subtle because it doesn't come from rebellion. It comes from trying too hard without renewal. You keep pushing, keep showing up, keep doing the right things. But inside, you're tired. And instead of addressing that exhaustion, you ignore it. You push through it. But here's what happens when you do that. Your spiritual life becomes performance instead of connection. You go through the motions, but there's no depth. No presence, no peace. And over time, you don't just feel tired, you feel empty. And emptiness is dangerous because it makes you vulnerable to anything that promises relief, even if it pulls you away from God. Number 5, the voice of quiet doubt. This is where everything starts to shift internally. Not loud doubt, not rejection, quiet doubt. Questions that don't get answered. Thoughts you don't confront. What if this isn't real? What if I've been wrong? Why isn't anything changing? And here's the key. You don't deal with those questions. You just let them sit. And over time, unaddressed doubt becomes silent belief. Not belief in truth, but belief in uncertainty. And once that happens, faith doesn't feel solid anymore. It feels fragile. And when faith feels fragile, you stop relying on it. Number 6, disconnection from truth. This is the tipping point. Because once you disconnect from truth, everything becomes subjective. You start choosing what feels right instead of what is right. You prioritize comfort over conviction. And here's what most people think. I'm just evolving. I'm just being real. But the truth is, you're drifting because truth anchors you. And without an anchor, you don't stay still. You move, slowly, quietly, further than you ever intended to go. Number 7, the final stage, indifference. This is where faith doesn't feel important anymore. Not rejected, just irrelevant. You don't fight it. You don't defend it. You just stop caring. And this is the most dangerous place to be because there's no tension, no conviction, no resistance, just silence. And silence is where faith dies unnoticed. But here's what changes everything. The Bible didn't just warn you about the root. It told you to watch for it. See to it. That means awareness is the key. Because what you recognize, you can remove. What you confront, you can heal. What you bring into the light loses its power. So if you feel distant, if something feels off, if your faith doesn't feel the way it used to, don't ignore it. Don't normalize it. Go back to the root. Because faith isn't something you rebuild overnight. It's something you restore, one decision at a time, one prayer at a time, one moment of honesty at a time. And here's the truth most people miss. God didn't move away from you. You just drifted quietly. And the same way you drifted away, you can return. Slowly, intentionally, but fully. So here's the question. What has been growing beneath the surface of your life that you've been ignoring? Offense, bitterness, doubt, exhaustion, name it. Because what you name, you take power over. If this opened your eyes, type awake in the comments. Not for me, for you. As a decision that you're not going to let something small quietly destroy something eternal.